All right, so now let's look at page number 8. Page number 8. Now, this page number 8, yeah, is going to be the highlight of your midterm exam, because midterm exam, they were likely to come up with document question that requires you to move them into your buku catatan pertama. So the whole cycle of your kitaran perikanan, right, is gonna cover this half of the circle, okay, which is starting from document. You will move it into where? Move it into buku catatan pertama, and then to leja. And the last step of the half circle is called as ID, imbangan duga. But for now, from what I know, other students told me, okay, so far most teachers have only covered until buku catatan pertama. So if let's say different situation, your school teacher have gone up to leja, then probably your exam will have until leja. That is this cycle here. Document is a question, BCP, and the next to leja. But if it stops at BCP, then it's a good news because it's much shorter to do compared to leja part. Okay, so journey's document. Now, I'm not going to list every single document for you guys because it's impossible for me to finish within 2 hours if I were to explain every single document. So I have here listed out dual journeys document, dual journeys category of document that makes it easier to memorize. So here, I give you a mindset, yeah, okay? Please go ahead and only memorize the secara credits document. You know why? Because secara credits document is very limited. We only have 3 jenis sahaja. 3 jenis document yang secara credit, and here is N already. No more other documents. So can you guys remember how many documents we have under BAB 3? Okay, document, okay, document, we have 18 types, okay? What are the 18 types? I say wrong already. Document sumber. We have 18 types of them. So can you imagine, yeah, if I ask you to memorize only the secara credit, the 3 types, then what are the rest of the documents going to be? The rest of the 15 documents is going to be under here. Secara tunai atau check. Now, what is the difference between secara credit and secara tunai atau check? Yeah, so I repeat again, from BAB 2 we learned about it. This secara credit is actually meant as hutang. So every time as you receive these 3 pieces of invoice, nota debit, nota credit, these kind of documents, yeah, it indicates that your hutang will be bertambah ataupun berkurang. Okay, so let's write down what is the usage of it. Yeah, I have prepared the spaces for you guys to write down. Now, invoice is for kegunaan. Okay, kegunaan dot is meant for beli atau jual barang niaga secara kredit. Beli ataupun jual barang niaga secara kredit. Okay, so this is the kegunaan of it. So every time when you look at the invoice, right, okay, it's for buy or sell barang niaga secara kredit. But sometimes, okay, exception, yeah, sometimes it can also be ABS that you're buying. Why? Because I want to buy a kenderaan. Can I buy with cash? Okay, maybe the kenderaan is so expensive that I have to borrow, as in to buy first, pay later, temporarily. So for ABS, it's also possible to come out under invoice. So you just make sure that you check in this document, is there such thing as barang niaga, or is there such thing as ABS? So then it will decide where you go to for your buku catatan pertama part later on. So this is for invoice. Now moving on, nota debit. Okay, nota debit. Nota debit, kegunaannya digunakan untuk menambahkan hutang dalam invoice yang salah. Okay, so what exactly does it mean by invoice yang salah? Okay, it's not that the entire invoice is wrong. It's just that the amount that I issue inside invoice is wrong. So let's say inside this invoice is 5,000 ringgit. But actually, yeah, the correct number is 5,500. So isn't there a missing 500 ringgit? So what I do? I will issue a nota debit so that I can menambahkan the hutang by how much? I will issue a piece of 500 ringgit nota debit. So as my customer receive this nota debit, they will be known that this, please refer to your invoice number, blah, blah, blah. That is a 5,000 ringgit. So you will combine the 5,000 together with the 500 ringgit. So you know how much is your hutang. 5,500 ringgit. So nota debit have another name that is also called as a invoice tambahan. This is also its kegunaan. One of the definisi of it, okay? Nota debit is also known as an invoice tambahan. So whenever something wrong with your invoice, especially terkurang charge, you will issue a nota debit to your customer. Well, for nota credit, okay, nota credit, yeah. Do you see the word K? Okay, K kurang. Okay, means what? Now, of course, if I want to adjust the figure, sometimes I will record too much and sometimes I record too little. In the case of the kurang charge, I will use nota debit. But what if it's the lebih charge? I must have a document for it as well, right? I just use the same document. That's why I will need to have nota credit. Okay, nota credit is for when the lebih charge. I want to kurangkan what? Hutang. Okay, kurangkan hutang. All right, so not just kurangkan hutang. Okay, let me write down the actual usage of it. Kegunaan untuk pulangan barang. Untuk pulangan barang. So the barang, I never specified what type of barang lah, but there is only dua jenis barang. Is either we call it as ABS or we call it as barang niaga. So you see, every time when I say ABS, seems like very simple, right? But no, ABS got how many types? 7 types. So whenever we say ABS, you have to consider what type of barang it is. If I say major, you have to change it to perabot. If I say vet, you have to change to kenderaan. So ABS will be much more troublesome because you have to change the term lah. But for barang niaga, it will always be called as either beli ataupun jual. Okay, so we are done with the nota credit and this is for the lebih charge. Whenever we have the lebih charge. Now, right here, we have a special case, right? Okay, so what is the special case? Now, the special case is a memo. Now, this memo, right, goes under our secara tunai atau check. Also, same time, secara credit. So, do you see why both? Because this memo is like a sticky note that your parents would leave for you whenever you go to school. So, they want to give you some money to use allowance before you go to school. So, they will put a memo, put a sticky note on your table, tell you, girl or boy, this is your allowance for today, 5 ringgit. So go and eat for your food, whatever lah, okay? So this is a special case. Memo doesn't really mean as hutang, but because I don't want to split the journeys document into 3 types just because of memo, because it's not necessary, okay? So under which case that I will put my memo under secara credit leh? When is regarding to pemilik bawa masuk, ambil barang. Which means that it's not regarding to money. I will slot them under the section of secara credit. It must be specifically an item, not money. So even if they say perabot RM 5,000. Now, just because of the RM 5,000, it doesn't mean that it's money because we're talking about the value of the perabot. In accounts, we explain everything in value form. But is it really in money? No, unless they say tunai ataupun check, which is here. So you see, if the pemilik is bringing in, bawa masuk, or taking out, ambil. But the thing is actually tunai atau check, then we will put it under secara tunai atau check. This is the group. So isn't it very obvious because it actually relates to cash or even check money that's from your bank. Okay. All right, so now that we talk about the memo already, now what else that we want to explain for is this three here. Now, these three is the common ones that will surely come out during your exam if they were to issue for document question. So what is bill tunai for? Let's write down. Bill tunai is meant for beli atau jual barang niaga / ABS secara, so I put like this, okay, wang. So as long as I buy and I pay on the spot, sell on the spot. So what does it mean? If I buy or sell on the spot, I pay money, that is check out because it involves money. But if let's say I buy or sell and I didn't pay for anything, what is that called? We call that as secara credit. So that's why secara tunai atau check, secara credit, they are pretty obvious one. As long as no payment made, secara credit. But if there is payment made, then tunai atau check. This is the group for it. So bill tunai is for payment. Okay, straight away payment. If I buy or pay on the spot, then that's it. All right, so bill tunai for that. Now for receipt rasmi, different usage, yeah. Bill tunai is for always purchasing, when I buy or when I sell. But for receipt rasmi is the after, where we will do terima atau bayar wang. Okay, terima ataupun bayar wang. So terima atau bayar wang is for what situation? I say is quite related to this part. Invoice. Okay, why? Because invoice is used for beli atau jual barang niaga or ABS secara credit. So secara credit also have a timeline one ma. Maybe the person sell to you and they said, okay, I give you 2 months payment time. So after that 2 months, when you pay, what would they receive? What would you receive as a receipt? They will give you receipt rasmi as a proof that okay, you have paid all your hutang. So bayar wang ataupun I say hutang. Bayar wang dengan hutang. Bayar hutang dengan wang, sorry. Explain terbalik already. So we can terima bayar wang, okay, or bayar hutang dengan wang. So this receipt rasmi usually is after your invoice, which usually if I buy or sell, I don't see receipt rasmi. Buy or sell should use bill tunai, got specific use. Okay, now last one, keratan check. So write down, yeah, keratan check is always for bayaran and it's gonna be regarding to bank. Why? Because it's a check. So you see, I give you a picture of how the keratan check looks like. Basically, it's a check. Oh yeah, sorry. I should draw the checkbook itself. It's quite long like this. And the keratan check is actually the small piece of paper by the left-hand side. So every time, right, when your parents are writing check, you can go to the side, pick what is your parents doing. So what you write already, then your parents will do what? Tear off this piece of paper, and this is what we call check. Okay, this is check. And where's the keratan check? Keratan check is actually the small piece. So why is your parents keeping for the small piece of paper? Yeah, because if they tear out the check and they give it to the person, when they come home, maybe they forgot, okay, who did I give to and how much is it? I've completely forgotten. Now, yes, we can check from our bank account, but is it accurate that who we paid to and even how much is it? So no, that's why we gotta look at keratan check to know what happened on that date itself. And even so, yeah, okay, if you say, hey, bankware got inaccurate one, yeah, it's accurate, but how long must you wait for you to get your statement? It's after a month. So I want to do it for this month and I don't have the record. Isn't it very troublesome? That's why keratan check cap is for the record of all our bayaran dengan bank. Okay, yeah? So these are the documents. Now, for secara tunai atau check is also the line. That's why here I put down line. So I said here got 3 types. If total document sumber is 18, so where are the rest? The rest are under secara tunai atau check. The other 15 types is here. Okay, all right, so we are done with explaining the journeys document now. So now I will explain why is it that I want to separate them as secara tunai atau check ataupun secara credit, because it will be brought into your buku catatan pertama in this way. We have 4 types of buku catatan pertama. The first type is journal up. And what they record in is urus niaga secara credit. And as for journal khas as well, we want urus niaga secara credit. So these 2 will only require document that is secara credit, which is what? 3. Invoice, nota debit, and also nota credit. So you see, as long as you remember the word secara credit and what type of document you have, immediately you are able to solve your journal arm and your journal has already. Just simple as that. But how can you choose, okay, when is it journal arm and when is it journal has? You see, if you want secara credit of these documents, bukan barang niaga. Which means what? If it's not barang niaga, then the barangan would be ABS, isn't it? Okay, then meanwhile, if it's barang niaga, you put under journal has. Barang niaga. Okay, so we only have two barangan again. Let me repeat again. Your two barangan is either barang niaga or else then is ABS. So for journal arm and journal has, the difference is when you look at these three documents, as long as it's barang niaga, you will put under journal has. But if it's bukan barang niaga, put under journal arm. Okay, so for journal has, yeah, okay, actually we have 4 types of journal has. The 4 types are journal jualan, journal belian, journal pulangan jualan dengan journal pulangan belian. So every time as you decide for your invoice, nota debit and nota credit, just be reminded that these two is when hutang bertambah. And for journal pulangan is when hutang berkurang. So how to tell it? Okay, see, invoice and nota debit. Invoice is the main paper that we started from this receipt. I sell secara credit, so hutang bertambah. But if there's something happen that we do terkurang charge, what will we do? We will use nota debit as an invoice tambahan to bertambah hutang kepada pelanggan, which explains why invoice dengan nota debit will be recorded both either JJ or JP. But for nota credit, the only one that's kurangkan hutang, you will put into JPJ ataupun JPB. So this is your journal has. Alright, now for buku tunai. Buku tunai receipt, both is for tunai ataupun bank. But here, I want to say, your buku tunai is basically a hybrid. Okay, what hybrid? Hybrid means a combination of two things. Do you see here? Juga dikenali sebagai account tunai dan bank. Account, is a term that we use only for BAB 5 ledger. So now I'm in BAB 4, but why account already? Because buku tunai is a hybrid law. It's a combo of BAB 4, BCP dengan BAB 5 ledger. Now, buku tunai is considered quite difficult because majority of your dates will be recorded into buku tunai, including your documents. If let's say we have 10 documents, I'm sure that at least more than half of it is for buku tunai. So then why is it that it's so hard? It's because it saves you time later at stage when you go to ledger. You know why? Because in your buku tunai, we prepare it in a T shape. So every time when I have positive, I have negative, I will just record it into the same book. And at the end of it, I will be finding out what is the baki that is left. HB dengan BB. So what is HB and BB? Okay, HB is hantar ke bawah. So it's always on the 30th or 31st. This is the date. Okay, while Baki BB is always at the beginning. So it's like a cycle, you see. Every month end, I will go ahead and find out what is the remainder of money inside my bank or my tunai. That's called Baki HB. And at the end of it, I will bring it to the next month. So the money could be continued using more. So buku tunai is actually to record only wang masuk ataupun wang keluar sahaja. So every time as you record in, your thinking must be money is increasing or is money decreasing? So no other thoughts should be considered, only about money. So this buku tunai receipt is considered an extra one in your full document question, because usually for full document question, they will only stop at buku tunai. But if let's say they really have a buku tunai receipt, then I'll say you look for those documents that have amount kecil. Okay, but of course, not every single one of them. Receipt rasmi cannot be in buku tunai receipt. So I will mention the buku tunai receipt type document. Got 2 lah, okay? Slip, daftar, tunai, voucher tunai receipt. Usually these two is meant for buku tunai ringgit. So if you see them lah, then it's for buku tunai ringgit, BTR. But the rest of them, as long as the amount is more than 100 ringgit and it's secara tunai atau check, you will surely choose for buku tunai instead of buku tunai ringgit. Okay, so that's it that I want to say. So right now, let's move on to our format of buku catatan pertama on page 9. Okay, so here. Now, this is your journal arm. The specialty of your journal arm is that they will always ask for one debit, one credit, and then you have to do keterangan. Keterangan. But every beginning of your journal arm, you need to remember, yeah, always, okay, bermula dengan catatan permulaan. Which the date is pretty obvious. If you say mula, obviously it's going to be on the first of the month itself. So on the first of the month, we do the catatan permulaan and you will see something very familiar again. Wait, this one's a bit looks like our persamaan perikanan, but how to know is debit or credit leh? So this thing is called as system catatan bergu. Okay, so you guys can put it on the very top of your page. System catatan bergu. I always ask my students to write this T-shape out every time when they do their exam question. So you just make sure you will be able to draw this out lah, or else then later you will be stuck on the direction wise. Okay. Now for system catatan bergu, yeah, the aim is exactly the same like asset equals to liability plus EP, except that instead of A equals to L plus EP now, what I want is debit to be equals with credit. But is there any changes? I said no. Because yeah, formula is what? A equals to L plus EP ma. You see where your A will sit on? The debit side. Where your L, EP will sit on? Credit side. And what about belanja dengan hasil? You just remember by the alphabet song. What comes after A? After A is B. So we will have A and B belanja to be always together, while the hasil will go on the other side. So A, B stuck together, and the rest of the alphabets of our classificasi, it will just show towards the credit side. So what is debit and what is credit? Yeah, debit is left side, credit is right side. There's no other meaning to it already, just left hand, right hand side. So for this left hand side and right hand side, yeah, is what usage there. Okay, so I want you guys to put down positive. These are the directions where they are positive. So let's say if I want my assets to be, instead of positive, to be negative, where should I put on? I only got two directions lah. If asset positive is on the debit side, then negative will go to the credit side. Then what about L, E, P, H? I want them to be negative instead. How? I only got credit and debit. If credit is a positive side for them, then the negative would be on the debit side. That's why this is how you memorize by your system catatan bergu. Say always before you start doing your exam questions, which is when you do revision, you always practice by drawing this T shape out, making sure that you are able to tell where is their positioning. So even though here there's no example question lah, but how come all these are on the nearby to the line and as model is a bit inside? Yeah, because do you see this and this is identical? The way they record is debit first one group, credit another group, debit one group, credit another group. So there must be a gap in front before you start doing L and EP item, is to ensure that the grouping is clear enough for the examiner to tell. So even your school teacher can also tell by that lah, okay? So in real life accounting, we also do the same thing one. So just make sure you know the catatan permulaan will begin from A equals to L plus EP. And again, yeah, the question might also miss out the model. Please go and find the model out, because a business will not have started without a model. So we must have model there before we can have asset. Okay. So all these you see are assets ma. So why I put it on the debit? Because asset is on the debit side. So for catatan permulaan, right, you just follow A is debit, LEP is credit. So you slot them under the column that they are supposed to be on. And then the keterangan will be just memulakan perniagaan pada tarikh ini, or baki, aset, liability dan EP pada tarikh ini. So further on, if there's any other questions that's supposed to be put into journal up, you just continue at the bottom of second, one debit, one credit, keterangan. So one debit, one credit. So that just go on as usual. This is the format. Now for journal khas, 4 jenis. Okay, so the first jenis is called journal belian. Second jenis, journal pulangan belian. Third one, journal jualan. And the fourth one is journal pulangan jualan. So how you recognize is belian or is it jualan? Yeah, you guys write down. We have our document in these 2 copies, either asal ataupun salinan. So asal is always us as a pembeli. And while salinan, we are the penjual. So do you see by writing this out, you can easily tell which type of journal has already. Beli, jual. So for asal, if it's invoice, nota debit, invoice, nota debit, for both asal salinan, okay? These 2, pembeli mah, go to journal belian. Journal belian. And these 2 here, that is salinan, goes to journal jualan. Then what about the same concept to nota credit then? Okay, nota credit, yeah. Same concept goes to nota credit as long as asal, as long as salinan. Asal means what again? Asal means beli, salinan means jual. So I will put it into journal pulangan belian. You see, it doesn't change. Asal is still belian, but then now for nota credit, it will go into pulangan instead of journal belian. It will go journal pulangan belian. Or salinan, journal pulangan jalan. So the top left corner of your document will always have this asal ataupun salinan for you to identify. So no matter what, we are never looking from other people's point of view. It's always from our point of view. So if I buy, I'm the pembeli. Asal, I will receive asal copy. If I sell, I will receive salinan. That is what I wrote to myself, okay? Because we have 2 copies, I just keep the bottom one, give the original to my customer. So asal salinan. Asal is when we are pembeli, salinan is when we are penjual. Okay, so the way you record in the jenis format of your journal khas is always to write nama orang sahaja. Nama orang sahaja. So in my usual class, I always like to tell my students that journal khas is my favorite buku catatan pertama ever because it's so fast. You just need to know how to identify JB, JJ, JPB or JPJ. Then you can immediately do what? Highlight for nama orang and record them all into your journal khas already. So you see, all is nama orang ataupun nama perniagaan. Same lah, okay? As long as it's a person's name or a shop name. Names I can put into here. But if it's barangan, can I ever record into here or not? Obviously no. If it's a barangan, we would have already put it into where? Put it into journal arm already, because only under barang niaga I can put in journal khas. I buy and I not pay. That's why my hutang bertambah kepada pembekal A, pembekal B. Okay, so at the very end of each journal, did you realize one similarity? Is that they will change the date to 31st and the word journal will be changed into account. Why? Because they want you to connect it to your next step, that is the ledger. So when it comes to ledger, everything will be labeled with the word account except for nama orang. So any items will come with the word account. All right, so you see, for the end, not only we change to account, we also need to add on this debit and crediting by the side. So what is this? Okay, you guys can write down. Belian is actually belanja. Belian is actually belanja. Pulangan belian is the opposite, is a hasil. So let me explain for this one first. Okay, why belian is a belanja? Because as I buy, what happens? I spend. So the amount that I have spent will be increased. Now, not saying that a decrease because you think money. No, we're not talking about money. You buy and you never pay. Isn't it your hutang bertambah? But at the same time, hutang bertambah, my belanja juga bertambah because I'm spending money that I'm going to be paying later on. All right, so belanja bertambah. You see, B is on the debit side, belanja. Okay, meanwhile, pulangan belian is a form of hasil. Where is hasil sitting on? Credit side. That's why we will have debit berlian, credit pulangan berlian. So these two things, yeah, is like a contrast one, because as I buy belanja mah, but if I return the purchase back to the pembekal, do I still owe them anything? I don't owe them. That's why it became a hasil. It's just because I want to make the belanja lesser. But why not just minus straight away from berlian? Because they are completely different thing. Berlian is only meant for when you buy. But if you really want to return or want to mengurangkan hutang, the only way is to do pulangan berlian, another term for it. So they are a pair actually. This is positive, this is negative form. A bit like model dengan ambilan. Why model cannot negative? Because a model is only for bawa masuk. Ambilan is only for ambil. So two things, different terms of I cannot mix together. So berlian, pulangan berlian. Berlian is for positive hutang. Pulangan berlian is when negative hutang. Okay, so we just minus out from the hutang. Or maybe let's just say minus out from the expenses. All right, now jualan, pulangan jalan, do the same thing. Jalan is sales, yeah. So we will have it as hasil, while pulangan jalan is gonna be a belanja. Why? Because when we have the sale, we thought that we are gonna earn. But then my customer decided to return back the item back to me. Did I manage to earn? No, I didn't manage to earn. So it became a loss for me. That's why it's a belanja. Okay, so it's hasil, credit, belanja, debit. Finish. All right, now we are up to the last two format already, which is buku tunai dengan buku tunai rencit. So buku tunai, I just say keep reminding yourself of it being a money account. So whenever I record into buku tunai, the main point of it is to remember, I want to know wang keluar ataupun wang masuk. So buku tunai is representing tunai dan bank. So why is it positive on the debit side, negative on the credit side? Because tunai dengan bank is a form of asset semasa, which is the reason why debit side is positive, credit side is negative. So I would highly recommend you all to label down by the time when you guys are doing your exam questions on the buku tunai paper, where's the positive and where's the negative side, because I'm really afraid that as time goes by, as you're doing your question, you'll get even more confused. So you quickly put down the symbol first, even before you start writing anything into your buku tunai, just to in case that later you won't mess up okay? So the beginning of your buku tunai, of course, must start from a value, because we don't start spending without a balance inside our bank account or our cash, okay? So cash there can never become negative one. So it should start from a positive figure before we start paying out. So you see the positive side, we have all this, negative side, we have this. So how you find this baki HB, yeah? I say, don't memorize the positioning, okay? Don't memorize the positioning of baki HB. Put on lesser side. Okay, what does it mean by put by lesser side? Because baki HB is actually used for you to help balance both the debit dengan credit side. So you see why tunai and bank is 4,009, 4,009, 7,002, 7,002. Okay, sorry, here there's a typo, 7,002. So sorry about that. Okay, 7,002. So how did it balance then? Is actually by filling up on the lesser side with our baki HB. So every time teacher, my students will ask me, teacher, where can I put my baki HB? Is there a place that I need to memorize? No. As long as a T shape can't balance, just slot baki HB into where? The smaller side. That is it. So you cannot just straight away decide for the both of them. Yeah, okay. You have to go by tunai first, then to bank. Okay, so you see tunai itself, if I add together, 4,009. The other side is only 700 and 800. So under comparison, obviously that my debit side is bigger. That's why I will put it as the total for the both sides. And now, how much is missing on my credit side? We would take 4,009 to minus 800 and minus 700, which then gets you the number of 3,400 to sub in as baki HB, so you can get both sides to be balanced. So same thing goes to our bank now, okay? So here there's a special case here. Actually, it's called contra. Did you guys see the K symbol inside your buku tunai? Now this K symbol must be on the same date, and there is K symbol on both sides. Okay, K must be presented on both sides. Why? Because contra is about money. Okay, it's about when money in, money out. But why money in, money out? What's the difference? Okay, I say this money, we have two types of money, right? Which is either tunai or bank. So when I say money in, money out, which means that maybe it's tunai in, bank out, or otherwise bank in, tunai out. Means what? Keyword kegunaan pejabat is because sometimes in our office we will be lack of cash. So how leh? Isn't it you will go to the bank and press on the ATM machine, you get money out from it. So that's why contra is this kind of thing. We just want to transform the money from a bank form into cash form so that we can use in our pejabat. So other than just the word pejabat, sometimes they will also say kegunaan perniagaan. But please don't mistaken my meaning here to other things, okay? If the pemilik membawa masuk kenderaan untuk kegunaan perniagaan, is it contra? No. Because kenderaan, is it tunai, is it check? No. Unless the front they talk about check perniagaan untuk kegunaan pejabat, yes, then this is considered contra. It must be all around about money that is with ending word kegunaan pejabat, then yes, we can consider it as a contra. So how you know? Okay, I'll say, if they are saying that I'm gonna have tunai minus bank plus, okay, this is what we're gonna record, yeah. The way you're gonna put in is follow the symbol, tunai minus tunai, we put in 700 ringgit. And how you explain now, this is called tunai. I don't write my name as an explanation. So as I explain, I will use the term bank. You know why? Because I explain, hey, why your tunai suddenly get lesser? Oh, because I bring to bank. Okay. On the other side, we say bank akan bertambah. So I go to the positive side, bank, do you see 700 ringgit? So this, I call it contra. But how to explain why bank suddenly increase? Oh, because I put cash into the bank account. So they will use each other's name as an explanation. So whenever you see it's a contra, you will only put butir as either tunai ataupun bank. But I will never encourage you to choose butir first before you start putting your column. So no, choose the column only to decide what is the butir, then it won't go wrong. Okay, now so for the last one, buku tunai ringgit. Bank minus tunai plus, same thing. Yes, same thing. It will be like this. You go to the negative side of bank, put in a 700 ringgit, and how you explain? Bank, why is it getting lesser? Oh, because I'm transforming it into tunai. Other side, tunai positive. I put into the positive side of tunai and I explain why is it tunai increasing? Oh, because I bring the money from bank. Same thing. Okay, it can be either bank plus, bank minus, tunai plus, tunai minus. So same. Okay, any combo also can. But actually only got two combos. Okay, either bank plus, tunai minus, or bank minus, tunai plus. Same. Is contra. Okay, now for buku tunai ringgit, I say this buku tunai ringgit, right? The main part is only what we call as sistem panja. The main part of your buku tunai ringgit is the sistem panja. So if let's say your midterm exam come out with buku tunai ringgit, it's a free mark for you. Please do it because it's so simple. Now, sistem panja, I would like to call it as top-up system. I give you an example that maybe you guys can relate, okay? So now your parents give you 100 ringgit. So in that month itself, you have spent 70 ringgit. So how much you have left? I still got 30 ringgit left. So on next month, your parents will tell you, hey, how much you have left from last month? Say 30. Oh, 30, yeah. Okay lah. Then I give you 70 ringgit. So you are got back to 100 ringgit. Go and spend. So this is how the top-up system works. Your parents will only give you the amount that you need for the coming month so that it goes back to what number? The original 100 ringgit. So this is how the top-up system works. Every beginning of the month, we will see the baki, and this is the amount that they will top up to us, which means how much is the value of your system panja every month? Combined 150. So you see why at the end of it, even when I spend less, okay, I am left with 78 ringgit. By the time I bring to the next month, do I still need to top up 150 ringgit or even 100 ringgit? No, I will just top up whatever that is missing to make it back to 150 ringgit. So this is how your buku tunai ringgit looks like. And it's almost the same as your buku tunai, just that it has an extra side of it, that is after this red line is called analisis bayaran. This analisis bayaran is for disediakan untuk leisure. Disediakan untuk BAB 5. So means that it's not that we're not necessary to do it, but this step here is to make it simpler for you when you go to BAB 5 leisure. So these terms here is a proper term for you to change. So like down here, I already give all the contoh. Now, as you write into Bude, you don't need to change it to a formal name. So you just need to remember, because this is called analisis bayaran. So I must have one time to be recorded under pembayaran, the same number, and another time into analisis bayaran. So every bayaran must be recorded 2 times. So you see, 4 ringgit, 4 ringgit. Okay, 20 ringgit, 20 ringgit. What else? 30 ringgit, 30 ringgit, and 8 ringgit, 8 ringgit. So this is how your buku tunai ringgit is. It's a bit extra, but it's for your BAB 5. Because BAB 5, we only use budi yang betul. But if you say kertas A4 tambang taxi, if every single tunai ringgit, belanja ringgit here that I put them as their own names, yeah, I'm going to be opening so much accounts just because of them. That's why we will slot them the same thing into the same category. Example, kertas A4 and pencil, they are all stationaries. I put under alat tulis. Okay, tambang is about vehicle. So you sit for car, you sit taxi, you sit bus, all these are tambang taxi. Anything related to car, you will put under tambang. And we have belanja post, that is example as stamp. Now, I have heard from my student before that some school teacher actually insist on stamp being alat tulis. But let me tell you, stamp, yeah, is impossible to get from a bookstore, okay? Stamp should be from only post office. You guys can go ahead and try. Go to popular bookstore and buy a stamp. You see what they will tell you? You can't buy from a bookstore. That's why it shouldn't be under alat tulis. It should be a belanja post, one and only belanja post. And what else we have is like example, sampul surat. You guys know what is that, right? Sampul surat is envelopes, but envelopes don't need to be belanja post because I can buy it from any bookstores. Alat tulis. Okay, so why? You see, envelope got a lot of colors. We have brown color envelope, we have white color envelope, the ones with blue and red. All those you can buy from where? Alat tulis, which is bookstore. Except that if they say sampul surat post laju, there's a different taste because post laju, yeah, have their own envelopes. If you want to get that specific thing, then you gotta go for belanja post. Okay, go to the post office to obtain the envelope. So this is how your buku tunai ringgit is. Okay. All right, so this part here is a bit special because we need 2 rows for it. Meaning same thing like your buku tunai. You just total up each column, the debit and the credit side. You see, debit, credit. Then compare. Which side is bigger? Obviously, 150 is bigger, so I'm going to put 150 for both sides and find out how much is missing on the smaller side. How I find this out is by taking 150 minus 72. So I'm still missing 78. This is the amount of tunai ringgit that I'm left inside this book. So I still have the money, so I bring it to next month, but it's not at all enough because my budget for buku tunai ringgit supposed to be 150 per month. That's why I will top up 72 ringgit. You see, isn't it the same concept here? You use how much, you top up how much back. I use 72, I will top up 72 ringgit back for it. So this here, no need to write total anymore. They just want to see. This is the system panja. This is the system panja. So in one buku tunai ringgit, there should be 2 pairs of system panja. That is Baki Bibi Bank, one time at the beginning of it, and Baki Bibi Bank at the ending of your buku tunai ringgit. So 2 pairs of system panja. Okay, so I'm done explaining already. Now I'm only left with 10 minutes, unfortunately. So I will just go ahead and explain the document question and show you how quickly we can finish a document question within just 10 minutes of time, okay? So of course, the buku catatan pertama, you will have to prepare it by yourself based on the format, but I will give you fully guided answers right here. Okay, so let's go to page 11. Start with what? Start with reading the top part of your question. So, pada 1st January 2019, Kisha telah memulakan, please highlight the word memulakan, and syarikat Amazing Web. So, this is nama kedai. So now, why would I want to highlight the nama kedai? Because I want to tell you that please do not ever record your own name into any buku catatan pertama at all, because you are the buyer, you are the seller. So why would you record your own name? You will only record other people's name whenever there is such thing as secara, credit ataupun hutang to be mentioned. Okay, so what are we selling? Menjual pakaian. Pakaian is our barang niaga. Now, from this point onwards, which is for bab 3 dengan bab 4, we will no longer be using the term inventory. Instead, inventory will stay stagnant as it is. We can't change the figure. So why is that? Because it's important to know how much have you sold and how much have you bought. So barang niaga now, instead of just calling it is inventory, we will call it as belian ataupun jualan. This is the proper term for your barang niaga. And you can never use this term for other things, okay? Belian dengan jualan can only be used for barang niaga sahaja. Okay, so that next, we're going to go down to this part. They say, dengan membawa masuk modal yang terdiri daripada premis, antik, simpanan tak. You do realize? They say membawa masuk modal. So it is missing a model which they want you to go and find out by doing what? Totaling up all your assets. Okay, here are all asset items. All asset item except for the model that we have added on. Now, the one here that is called tunai di bank is actually bank, while tunai di tangan is tunai. So as you write into your journal arm later, do not need to write tunai di bank, tunai di tangan. Just write bank, tunai will do. So how much is our model? Go ahead and add everything together. Now, the 150,000 plus 27,800, 5780, 70,500, 30,000 and 8,000, 5,000. Your model supposed to be this number. So you guys gotta be fast, yeah, okay, during your exam. So this 297080 is gonna be your model that you're gonna record into your journal arm this way. Okay, this whole section is for journal arm, but you're gonna have a group of items up here to be on the debit side of your journal arm, while 297080 to be recorded into the credit side. So as you explain, the keterangan will be memulakan perniagaan pada tarikh ini. So how did I know about the keterangan? It's actually from the clue that you see up here. Didn't I ask you guys to highlight the word memulakan? So that's why this is your keterangan. Just copy the whole section into your journal arm. Date 1st January 2019. Like this. Okay, so not only to journal arm, we have one hybrid account that you gotta do in advance. That is your bank and also tunai. These two will have to bring into its own buku tunai on the debit side because they are an asset. So we started from positive figure. So for your catatan permulaan, please always do these two steps. That is to bring in everything into journal arm. While for buku tunai, you only pick out bank dengan tunai sahaja. Okay, so this is the beginning for your journal arm dengan buku tunai. So you go ahead and do that later on. Then now the remaining time, I'm going to be explaining for the lampiran A. So our choices will be journal arm, journal khas, buku tunai dengan buku tunai rigid. So I'll go freaking fast, okay? So you guys please catch up as I go. So what I will do is target the word tunai, check bank. Tunai, check bank. Keep looking at this anywhere inside the document. You see first document, tunai, bank. Write down BT. Just like this. Bank, BT. Okay? This is how you identify. So as long as any corner of your document has the word bank, tunai, check, buku tunai. Okay, come. Document 3. Do you see invoice? The one. Bill, tunai, come. Buku tunai. All right, anywhere got the word tunai, bank, check, I will take it. Okay, now where else? Nota debit, the one. Invoice, the one. Makluman credit, do you see the word bank? Buku tunai. Literally any corner, yeah. Even though there's just bank gembira, I will also take it. It's buku tunai. All right. Now, this everything bookstore welcome. Never write anything but bookstore leh. How to secara credit, right? So obviously also using cash or bank to buy. Okay, so here another one. Bank gembira berhad. Can you guys see it? Okay, so buku tunai done. Where else? Okay, we still have nota credit, the one. Receipt Rasmi, do you see the word bank inside? Buku tunai. Okay, continue. Document 12, do you see this nombor check? Buku tunai. So we have done for all the BT now. So what's left is we gotta find for journal arm and also journal has. So I would target journal has first. Okay, journal has very specific, must be invoice, nota debit, nota credit, and it must be barang niaga that's inside. Okay, so I go back to the very beginning. Okay, here only got buku tunai mah. So what is document 3 then? It's an invoice, and I zoom in. Is it my barang niaga? Oh yes, we are called Syarikat Amazing Wear. I sell pakaian. So okay, this is gonna be journal has, but which type of journal has? Do you see the word asal? Asal is meant for pembeli. So I'm gonna put it to journal boleh. Okay, so I gotta find what? Person's name to highlight. So here we'll only have 2 names every time inside a document. Not gonna write your own name. So the name that we're gonna record is gonna be pemborong huanying. We need a few things, which is the nombor document, name, date, and as well as jumlah. This is what you gotta record into your journal has. Okay, further, next. Nota debit. Do you see baju? Okay, journal. Belian or jualan? Do you see asal? Asal, pembeli. So again is journal, belian. Now why? Because again, nota debit and invoice, they are both for hutang bertambah. So they will go to the same place. JB, JB. Okay, because asal. All right, so I find for person's name, yeah. Pemborong huanying, nombor document, date, jumlah. So document 5 done. Next, document 6. Baju. Okay, baju, correct. So it's journal has. But which type of journal has? Do you see salinan? This time we are penjual already. Okay, so it's journal jualan. Journal jualan. So who am I gonna record now? I'm Syarikat Amazing Wear. Don't take your own name. So it's gonna call Zora Wear. Nomor document, date, jumlah. All right. Now, what else are we left with? Let's see, yeah. Is there anything else or not? Okay, here I got a nota credit. Nota credit is the one for journal pulangan, but wait, check first, yeah. Is it baju? Yes, baju. So journal pulangan. Is it jualan or belian? Do you see salinan? Salinan means penjual. So it's gonna be JPJ. We're gonna find for name, date, normal document, and jumlah. Zora where? Normal document, date, jumlah. Okay, so anything left or not? Seems like no more already. Okay, so let's check from top to bottom. Is there any else document that I haven't recorded yet so far? So document 1, 2, done. Okay, so document 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we still have a document 13. Okay, so here, document 13. So obvious. Is this my barang niaga? Van no. Okay, I don't sell van. I'm Syarikat Amazing Wear baju ma, okay? Not baju. So it's journal because invoice is for secara credit, and the secara credit only got 2 choices. It's not journal then it's gonna be journal has. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys how to do for your journal lah. Okay, always find for 2 things, debit dengan credit. So obviously the van, you gotta change it to this term, kenderaan. But what are we doing with this kenderaan right now? If you're not sure, look at the word asal. Asal means pembeli. We are currently buying a kenderaan. So what happened to your kenderaan? Akan bertambah. But if you don't know which direction to go to, remember, asset belanja, hasil EP dengan liability. These are their positive side. So kenderaan is a form of asset. As asset bertambah, isn't it on the debit side? So I'm gonna have kenderaan to the debit, while credit is gonna be the person that I bought from. Okay, why? Because invoice is secara credit ma. I'm buying the kenderaan now without payment more. So who did I owe to? Again, as long as berhutang, you will find for a person's name. That's why later on, your credit is going to be recorded as kedai kenderaan Toyota. So these are the answers for your journal has and also your journal arm. So date is 27. Now only journal has will need to have nombor document, but journal arm no need. Journal arm just need to have debit, credit, date, as well as the jumlah. But one thing extra, explanation. So keterangan will be membeli kendaraan secara credit. Just like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna just end the class over here. Now for buku tunai, right, I said you will have to further go on to do one thing. Let me just guide you. Okay, you guys write down on your page 12. Okay, write down on your page 12. Now for buku tunai, you will have to do about 2 steps. Okay, so the first step, you found your buku tunai already. Decide, is it bank or is it tunai? Okay, so this is the first step. Actually, I want to combine, but then I feel like a bit hard, so I do 3 steps. Okay, first step is to choose bank ataupun tunai. Second step, positive or negative. Third step, cari butir, which is the explanation. But you will never have to write membeli what? No. If you want to membeli barang niaga dengan tunai, that's called belian, because barang niaga. If you want to menjual barang niaga dengan tunai, that's called jualan. That's how exactly you're going to change your butir. Just make sure that it's 1 word, 2 words, okay, maximum, like that. So there won't be a full sentence. I just want a term to explain the whole entire situation. So the buku tunai part, I will leave it for you guys. So please go ahead and do according to this step and then record them into your buku catatan pertama lah. Okay, so I hope you guys learned something from today's seminar. So if you have any questions, you can access to me through again my Instagram, or you can also look from my YouTube for the asset video. Okay, so see you guys. Bye bye. No problem. See you.